Look at me being right on time. All right. How is everyone doing tonight? It is a impromptu thing, so you'll probably watch this later, not when it's live, but I appreciate you watching whenever you do. It came to the realization today that I have an anniversary today, and it's important. It's an important date in my history. Sorry, I had to close the window over there because sometimes I talk loud and I'm respectful to my neighbors. I know it's weird, right? Me, respectful? Yeah, totally. It's an anniversary. It's a day to celebrate. A crazy one as well, because I didn't realize that today was August 19th, and it is 20 years ago on this day at the ASYLUM Concert Club in Lawton, Oklahoma, where we finally sold tickets and ran an ASYLUM Championship Wrestling show, our first wrestling event for ACW. 20 years. What? Like, okay. And I trained, like, we had a couple false starts for ACW way back in the day. We were like 2 years before that, we started like taking bumps and training, and we called it training. Looking back, it was not training. It was ridiculousness. It was chaos, and none of us knew what the hell we were doing. But wow, the memories. 20 years. Do you know how many, dare I say, 500, 600, 700 people that have not only just performed in our ring, but held the camera, set up the ring, referees, ring announcers, commentators, and, auxiliary roles, satellite roles. I mean, holy crap. Between our time in Lawton, Oklahoma, where we started, and we spent our first 5 or 6 months. I know we started in August and we got out of there in January or February of the next year of 2003. And then we moved down to Graham Central Station in Wichita Falls, Texas, where we spent some really cool years. It was an outlaw show, literally. Bad words, slight nudity, mostly my butt. Crazy storylines, which I'm going to get into with somebody who's on hold right now, who I haven't talked to like face to face in forever. And then we moved to a different place in Wichita Falls, Texas, the Tommy's House of Music, which was probably one of our worst places that we ever ran. It was a rundown dive bar. It was Tommy's House of Music Hip Hop Club. So if you know me whatsoever, you know how miserable I was in that place. It wasn't when we set up the ring, but like people weren't like, the military was not allowed to go there because of shootings and things, but we'll get into that later. And then we packed up the ship and moved to Colorado Springs. And then we ran, oh man, at the big Mr. Biggs Event Center, a couple shows there. Then we ran, then we moved the show to the Phil Long Expo Center, where I dare say we had our best run as a company. We were there for, I think, about 3 years. I could be wrong. We left in 2010. Yep. And then we bummed around town a little bit. We went to the casino, the Double Eagle Hotel and Casino up in Cripple Creek, Colorado. We did the City Auditorium, which could have been cool, but the people that ran it were pure shit. Then we went to like the Hillside Community Center, which was, I always told myself I would never run a venue where I could see basketball hoops. And I did. You had to keep the show going. And then after that, we had some really good shows at the Big House Sports Arena where we brought in, Vader and Goldust, and 2013, man, that was May 25th, 2013. That was our last show, and it's almost been 10 years now since we ran a show, which is crazy. Was that 2013 or 2014? Whatever. I'm getting up there in age, and sometimes I forget the dates, Anyway, a lot of chair shots in that time. But that was our run. But in that time, in that 12-year period, 14 if you include the training years, which a lot of the people that were on the shows were there as well. In that time, we just met so many cool people. Again, just everybody that was attached, and the fans as well. People, and this is crazy. And any wrestling promoter that's been around for a long time will basically they'll realize how important of a part and what you have to build. I always wanted to build a community, especially here in Colorado. I tried my hardest to build a community. Now, I don't want to get negative, but I was working with a bunch of little shitheads, little kids and everything that thought they knew everything, and they didn't, because I didn't even know anything, and I'd been doing it for years. If I don't know anything and I've been doing it for years, you don't know shit. That's all the negativity I'll say. Anyway, so that kind of hindered things a little bit, but I always wanted to build a nice community, throw holiday parties, and just keep the team together. And I think we did that really well for a while. And first of all, there's a lot of people. I put out a list earlier on Facebook of the top 50 people. Originally, it was supposed to be top 50 people that have the most potential, that should have made or might still make a huge career in pro wrestling. And that's why, the person that's number one is number one. It's not because he was the best wrestler or even my best friend or a person I enjoyed the most, but out of everybody, I think he had the most potential. But anyways, we'll get to that in a second. And then again, I made this list. I was doing laundry earlier, and I made this list of 50 people off the top of my head. Yeah, I've never done drugs. I rarely ever drink. So that shit's still in here somewhere. But I did leave some names off, and I'll talk about them as well. I'll talk about them first. And I see I got a guest in here waiting in the car. And I was going to wait till, and if anybody's watching and they want to call, not call in, but be on with me, and we can talk about ACW if you were in the show. And if you had a part of the show, then let me know. Like, send a comment, and we will, I'll send you the link, and we'll chat, man. We'll do like a little 5 minutes with whoever wants to come in. We're already getting some comments on this and that and the other thing. That's cool. Welcome aboard, everybody. I got a lot of viewers on that. Nothing on YouTube. Anyway. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about the people I left off the list. Yes, I have sticky notes. I still use these things. Let's see. Jeffrey Parker. There would be no ACW without Jeffrey Parker. Jeff DeGeorge is his real name. And I got 50, almost 60 people to talk about here, so I'm going to go pretty quick. But he's the one who had the ring in the beginning. I fixed up this beat up ass ring and made something that was at least somewhat safe to bump on. It still was not a very good ring, but I've gotten rid of all these rings, by the way. Anyways, they were trashed out. They were destroyed. But the Jeffrey Parker was the first person to give me my first ring, and we replaced everything on it. Literally, the only thing that remained were the side rails. That's it. And some of the beams that went across. I think we replaced all of those too. But yeah, it was not the same ring once we fixed it up. But without Jeffrey Parker, there would have been no ACW. That he had a ring. If you build it, they will come, and they sure did. Bad Brad Michaels, I left him off the list because he had a very short run with ACW up in the at the casino, the Double Eagle Hotel and Casino in Cripple Creek. And but he's so good. He's so freaking good. And he's still a close friend of mine today. Unfortunately, the only damn time I hear from him is when somebody passes away. And unfortunately, that happens way too damn much. That's the problem with knowing so many people through the wrestling business and all these different scenes and circuits. You just start losing people, and I hate it. And we just lost Vernon Love, who was never in ACW, but he's a really close friend. And I'll tribute him at another time. But Joshua Michael was ACW champion Josh Powell, and he just passed away a couple weeks ago, and he's 10 years younger than me, but I'm going to talk about him as well. Bill Gray. How did I forget Bill Gray? Unlimited potential, literally unlimited potential with this guy, and he's still kicking it. And if anybody should really break whatever ceiling is in the independents and go into a bigger league, that son of a bitch. And I liked him too. I know he's influential, and I was never one of the cool kids, but we had some good times together, good road trips, great worker, amazing build, and incredible athlete. Holy crap, man. And I got to train him just a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm not taking any credit for anything that he's done, but son of a bitch, that guy can go, and he deserves a lot. Michael Barry Lindoff. How did I leave him off, man? I love that guy. I really do. Michael Barry's, he's one of those people that you either like him or you just like him, but kinda. I really like Barry, and I hope to see him again pretty soon. I'm actually coming through Missouri like in a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that, to film with somebody else who's on this list. Brianna, holy shit. Easily one of the most beautiful humans on earth. Not just like the way she looks, there's that, but just a freaking infectious personality and somebody you just want to be or hang out with. She's such a cool human being, and I'm looking forward to filming a show with her about small towns for ASY TV, just a couple weeks too. And we're already lining stuff up. But Bree was awesome. She was a manager type. She usually managed Michael Barry, and having them both in ACW at the same time over, I think they did about 6 or 7 shows with us, and just good stuff, man. They always did whatever they were asked to do, and they did it well, and that's all you can really ask for. Chris Rathbone, I think Chris Rath was his ring name. I didn't know him that well, but damn, he was a hell of a worker, and really cool to know that guy. I think he was our last ACW institutional champion, which, by the way, I have that belt down here somewhere. I'd go get it, but I don't want you to know I'm not wearing pants. Yeah, don't get me excited, people. Chaz Sharp. He was deaf. I wrestled him maybe 5 or 6 times. He was deaf. Think about that for a second. In the ring, we're talking, hey, duck one, take an elbow. He's deaf. So you literally had to work out everything beforehand, but he was good enough to the point where he didn't really have to talk. He didn't have to really communicate. You just, after a while, you just learn. But he was real good. Of course, it was a disability that impaired his ring work. Of course it was. But even he was still good. And he was a former institutional champion. Maybe a tag champ as well. Yeah, he was tag champ with Rich Sharp, who was also deaf. I forgot about Rich. Jeez, man. Brandon Morris. What a guy, man. I like that guy. I really like that guy a lot. I don't remember bringing him in. Did we bring him in? If anybody remembers Brandon Morris being in ACW, but I know I've wrestled on cards with him in other places, and I've known him forever. I'm pretty sure we brought him in. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, he was in some tag team with Wayne or whatever, and I think we did stuff after that. But I had to put him on the list because he's a really cool guy. Okay, here's the 50 that I dropped earlier. Richard Gustison. That son of a bitch. You can't put a read on Richard. Richard thinks everybody hates him, but we don't. I really, really liked him as a person. He's just funny, and he'll do anything. He was a good referee. He was a good ring announcer, and he was a really cool, like, little toady manager type of guy. And I loved having him around. He just added to Quinn Industries. He added to my little heel group and everything. And we did Richard is his name. So of course we did a slap a dick match. I think it was that me and Candyman or somebody? We did a slap a dick match where the first person to slap Richard 5 times wins the match. Innovative genius. So anyways, love that guy, and I hope he's doing well. Number 49 is Buddha. Alan Hahn. Oh my God. Talk about the hardest working guy. He was head of security for ACW in Colorado. And he was also a former tag champion, which I just watched the highlight reel earlier. And just always there, always there with an answer, always there, the guy that could fix anything. And just, I adore freaking Alan, and I miss that guy. I'm bummed that we haven't probably seen each other since the last ACW show. So I guess he was just using me for wrestling access. Probably. Everybody used me. It's okay. I'll forgive you. I've already forgiven you. Trust me. Anyways, I'm going to bring on my first arch rival. Are you there? Are you there, Chris? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Are you good? All right. Is he at Walmart? What are you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's with that beard? What's going on, man? Are you in Walmart?
No, I was at Dollar General. Top budget.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I say Walmart, and Chris says, hold my beer. I'm at Dollar General. Look at that. You even put the product placement behind you.
Look at that, man.
This is great. I haven't seen your face like in a live action type of thing. I've talked to you, but I haven't seen you forever. I'm hoping you're doing. I love the beard, man.
Oh, thank you.
Finally, you figure out how to be a heel.
Man,
you grow a beard. That's what you do. You grow a beard.
Yeah, that always works, don't it?
Gotcha. You're way farther up on this list, but I wanted to get you on because I know you've been waiting. Man, ACW was 20 years ago today.
Boy, you're dating us, man.
How did we end up being still so damn handsome, though? I don't.
Well, it's just that genetic lottery,
You look exactly the same, to be honest with you.
What's that?
You look exactly the same.
Oh, well.
Who's in the car with you? I hear kids.
Oh, that's my love of my life. That's my little girl, Meredith.
Oh, how beautiful are you, Meredith?
I think she's my brother.
Gorgeous. My goodness, that is a gorgeous kid.
Thank you. She's my everything.
Most kids are pretty ugly. Like most kids, you see them walking around, you're like, ugh.
I know, and you hear people saying, "What a cute kid," and you're like, "Stop lying." Especially with babies. I've never seen cute babies. They all come out red and fat.
Excuse me?
Oh boy, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I stepped in.
Oh, when you get home. Nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take the long way. She throws a pretty mean chair shot, Brandon.
I bet she does, and you can take one. I know I've hit you with many. 20 years. I want you to dig back. What was your first impression? Because here's how. Let me explain the backstory real quick. I wanted to bring you guys down from Oklahoma City, and I was an upstart. We had a bunch of greenhorns. I had no idea what we were doing in the ring. And I wanted to have like this war between ACW and a made up, like, I wanted to shit on Oklahoma City because they were shitting on me. But I made up a promotion called Oklahoma Extreme Wrestling, and you were the owner of that company. And then you brought in all the guys from Oklahoma who wanted to come down and actually have fun in the ring. What do you remember when you first got to the Asylum Concert Club in Lawton, Oklahoma?
Brandon, I can't speak for others, but I don't spend a lot of time psychoanalyzing things like that. I was grateful to you. Anytime you get a shot to get an experience with another federation, especially when that's all that's on your mind, you're always, at least I was always grateful for it. So I think I was just more interested in seeing what you were wanting to do with it and where you was going to go with it and the creative aspect, as opposed to worrying about how many this place can seed or things of that nature. What
was your opinion of our feud? Because we feuded for years.
Well,
I mean years.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I want to give you all the credit. But
hurt my feelings. I don't care.
For me, and I'm not saying this because I'm just talking to you, but for me, it was my funnest and the best time I had, because the way you worked it and the way you created and wrote everything, it just, for it to last as long as it did, and nobody really ever got tired of it. Every time I blindsided you, the 100th time, it was just as loud a pop as it was the first time. And so I'm glad that you were able to keep it interesting and entertaining for everyone without people getting burned out.
That is true. It never got boring, even for us, I don't think.
No, it didn't for me. I loved it. I mean, I never knew, when I got the run sheet, I didn't know never knew what to expect with you. You are the enigma. You are certainly the enigma of my career in wrestling.
I appreciate that.
But well, you're welcome. But it was always fun. That's the thing. I mean, obviously everybody that gets in, is thinking they want to go WWE, and that's that's all there is, me. That was the only thing that I didn't like about the business. Uh, but
I
you
had
all,
fun on the independents. Did we
yeah,
make a lot of money? No, of course we didn't. We barely got by for 13 freaking years, but I had so much fun. And it was almost like the time I spent in the army. Did I learned so much from that. And you were in the military as well. So you can kind of relate. We learned so much from the military. And this whole ACW run, or even our time, and the way I look at it, ACW was 3 different runs. There was Oklahoma, Texas, and then Colorado. But the Oklahoma was I got my feet wet, and you're the one that kicked my ass all over the place. And basically we beat the hell out of each other, but I learned how to wrestle taking your stuff.
That last sentence broke up, brother. Say it one more time, please.
I said I learned how to wrestle in our feud because I didn't know what I was doing when we started, but I learned from you.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot to me. Well, Brandon, you were a quick learner. That was one thing that I really enjoyed about you. Is, well, first of all, with just thinking a Michigan kid coming in, and coming down, and even though that's not official Yankee territory, you didn't come in with no attitude, or you were always made it abundantly clear that you realize that you can learn from anybody, and you never changed even after you got comfortable with those of us that you call friends today. That you never took that for granted. You always, when you got in the ring, you were anxious you were very meticulous about being very detail oriented, and that was something that I always appreciated, that that you wanted to hone your craft and be the best that Brandon could possibly be. And that is one of the early things that I grew to respect you for.
Well, let's talk about some of these people that were back then, so I can knock out some of this list here, because I don't want to forget anybody.
Sure.
What do you remember about Little Joe?
I swear you must be clairvoyant, because I was just thinking about texting you earlier to ask you how he and Todd were doing.
I wish I knew.
Man, Brandon, I'll tell you, the last time I seen him is I preached Matt Garza's funeral, which I'm sure you'll touch on at some point. But
he was next, actually. He's next on my list. So
yeah, and that's the last time I seen Little Joe, and he promised me to stay in touch. And he's hard to run down, but as far as Little Joe, I honestly can say, in my humble opinion, I believe that he was the most athletically gifted of all of us.
He was muscle and leather, man.
Yeah, and man, he was just, for somebody that had no formal gymnastics training, for somebody that never had, a lot of one-on-one training. That little guy, man, I honestly believe he could have been a Black Rey Mysterio with the right training.
And he looked good, too. He looked good. He was a good-looking guy.
He did.
Well, he's probably still a good-looking. I imagine he looks exactly the same.
Little Joe looked 15 when he's 80. And
wouldn't it be funny if he gained like 300 pounds and now he's Big Joe?
I know, man. It had like these pimples and ingrown hairs on his face, 3 chins. But yeah, it would be. But that's funny to even think about. But one thing I can say, man, Little Joe was the sweetest person I think I ever met.
Never an issue with him. Never an issue with him.
It was always yes sir, no sir. I think if you would have asked him to wade in poop, he would have done it for you, man. I mean, he's just he was, man, I hate to use this expression for a man, but he was just he is a sweetheart of a guy.
What do you remember about Matt Garza when you first met him?
Well, Matt looked just like a lost child. He looked like an orphan. I mean, no no, nothing toward. I don't mean to disrespect anybody that might have been adopted or anything, of course, but I'm just saying he looked lost. He came in there and he's like, he just looked like this little kid that was always reaching out for help, but he was an easy guy to like, and he had a sweet demeanor and attitude, and
he picked it up fast too.
He did, and I think a lot of that was because he wanted to be good, and he did the best with what he had to work with. I think that Matt made huge strides, in his time of wrestling with us. At least, I mean, that's what my observation is that he made huge strides along the way.
And what I'll say about both Matt and Little Joe is whenever the ring needed to be set up, broke down, they were the ones that stuck around. They were the ones that showed up early. They busted their asses, and I could never pay them or thank them enough for that at that point,
Right. And, always, you didn't have to worry about him. No showing you could count on him. And he would, after you started giving him, a good push. I always noticed when I got there with the guys that would ride down with me from Oklahoma, he was always, it seemed like be one of the hardest workers, help him put up the ring, do anything you'd ask him. He never let, wow, I'm a such and such champion now, and he never let, nothing changed him. He was so much like Little Joe in that respect, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was heartbroken when he passed away. I really was. I can't make every funeral when they were across the country. I think I sent in a silly video or something. I don't know, but
you gave a nice, polite, quick little eulogy, and then you got up and walked away. You made everybody think you was wearing a suit, and you got up and walked away in your underwear.
Here's the thing. I'm sorry if that, I had to do something that I thought Matt would think was funny. Not that he's there or whatever, but it's just,
I would have appreciated it.
I thought it would have been funny to show my ass in a funeral, but whatever.
Well, the timing was good because, it's always doom and gloom, right? And so what you couldn't see or hear, I don't think, is the laughing and I mean, it got a good pop, man. I know that wasn't good, but you lifted a lot of people's spirits at a good time.
I'm glad to hear that. I had to do something stupid, and hopefully, it's like it's like a wrestling show. You really have to have all the different elements. You got your hardcore, you got your comedy, you got your wrestling, you got your whatever.
Well, I've preached a lot of funerals, and it's always such a serious, where everybody is so serious, and for someone just to be themselves and true to who they are in a time like that, it really was appreciated.
Let's talk about Bernie Donderwicz, James Dinsler.
Man, I miss him. I love him to death, but he and I was always like, man, I mean, the only thing that we had really in common other than wrestling was football. We were both big Sooner fans, but me and James got along fabulously, but we just never got to spend much time together outside the ring like I did with so many others. But he was funny.
He did anything we asked, no matter how controversial it was. He was the Hebrew Hammer, the hardcore Jew. And I don't even think he was really Jewish. He was just doing that gimmick. And I had at Grahamsville Station, we gave him his own group called Jew, which was the Jury of Ethnic Wonders. This is what ACW was about. But he played it so damn well. We put Mr. Brown with him. We put X-Cow was with him for a second. And I mean, I look back at some of the clips, and you can find them on YouTube if you really dig deep. And a lot of them are just like, wow, did we really just have Cade Seidel give Little Joe a watermelon? Like, oh, Jesus. Like, what? Did that really happen? Like, everything with Ty Magnus was a dick joke. Like, just, and then the ultimate thing that people still talk about today revolved around you. Let's talk about your death.
Boy, man, I mean, up until just like recent memory, I still, still got some heat over that. That wasn't cool when you did such and such. You had a
Isn't
lot
that
of,
great though?
and it was, but I was kind of like, I was kind of caught in the middle, because I
Well,
seen totally and understood your aspect of it,
my
and then on
stupid
the,
vision. Yeah, let me explain what I'm talking about for those who don't know. In 2003 or 4, I think it was 2003, we did an angle with just you and I are the only two that knew about it. And I would tell you to just start telling people how tired you were and you don't really want to drive home, but you got to get home. And you did that greatly, by the way, because people were asking, I'll give you a ride, I'll take you there, whatever, just stay at my place, whatever. And am I right?
yes,
So you were working people after the show, and you're the main heel of the show. So the next day, oh my God, looking back, I'm like, wow, I'm a bastard. Looking the next day on the Asylum Championship Wrestling website, I put a news article up there that I created, and it must have looked pretty well because I tried to make it look as though it was like copied, or what do you call that when you scan something and put it in, whatever, scanned. And it said
yeah,
that you had passed away in a van accident, and everybody bought it. Everybody. We didn't tell anybody on the roster. We didn't tell our closest fans. We didn't tell anybody but you and I. Even Matt Garza, he called me, is it true? And I'm just like, I don't want to talk about it, and hung up. And like I just stopped answering my phone. And I imagine you had the same problem.
oh man, what are you talking about, man? I was flattered because I mean the voicemail was, we still had the little tapes and the recorders back then, and so when people would call, they'd leave a message at the beep,
Oh,
and that thing just got filled up, and I even got, and I don't know how this happened. I had a little vacation condo over in the middle of nowhere in East Texas, and I had like, I mean, a handful or more of sympathy cards show up there. And I'm like, I don't even know this address.
we
And
did,
so,
and it was easier back then because of technology to get away with something like this, or the lack
oh,
thereof of technology. But we
yeah,
played this thing, and I'm gonna put us both over because we played this thing so freaking smooth that literally everybody, like Charlotte, Char, her daughter
yeah,
Karen, who you knew personally, like her daughter
yeah.
Karen didn't go to school for like a couple days, and that's when it started getting to the point where I'm like, I called you up, and we were just like
Man,
laughing at the same time, but wanting to almost cry about it.
right, I know, right? We're like, Stun's got to hurry up and get here.
So I ended up putting the word hoax right across the. Oh my God! Then everyone was pissed,
Well,
and then
but you didn't do that until after the show, though. You did that for the benefit of people that weren't able to make that show. Because if you
no, we
remember,
did it
if I,
before the next. We did it because we did shows every 2 weeks. We did it before the next show,
oh,
and
I thought the way they found out is the lights went out in the arena, and I ran in and
no,
hit you with my.
you were the first thing that happened in that next show, but that was 2 weeks away. We did them every other Sunday at Grahamsville Station,
Okay.
but it was
Yeah.
yeah, we did the whole thing. And here's the funny thing about it: we did a thing where we did the Vince McMahon blowing up in his limo better
Yeah.
than that. And it was the
Yeah.
same thing because the whole thing was going to be like, I knew you guys cared about me, and that's why I did this, and that's what we were going to say. But
Right. Right.
that was the payoff, just to work the people. And
Right.
damn, I'm glad we pulled the plug on it, but I still wish we wouldn't have chickened out a little bit just to see how that played out.
Yeah. It would have been fun. I mean, but I guess you could look at it from both sides. So I guess uh, I just remember, I'm a big fan of the movie Friday, and I just remember the first time that the lights hit me after everybody thought I was dead. I guess some people didn't get the message because I heard somebody in a perfect Chris Tucker voice say, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah, I
But
remember that. I remember that.
they thought they
I
were
thought
rid of
you
me.
were
I was like,
dead.
yeah, they thought they were rid
Someone
of me.
didn't get the memo, But let's talk
Yeah.
about one more person, then I got to move on. But let's talk about
All
Big
right.
Money Chris Matthews, man. You guys were paired up for most of the
Man,
time that you were in ACW.
I
And
love him and miss him so much.
yeah, how's he
Uh,
doing, Rob Faust?
Brother, I mean, he's hard to catch up with. I mean, I seen a video clip of him recently in the weight room, and he is like, well, he always was freaky strong.
Oh, he's always had
And
eyesores.
yeah, man, and I'm telling you, he was in the gym, like picking up a corner of the gym with everybody in it. But I mean, he's huge, man. But yeah, unfortunately, I ain't got to spend any time with him. As a matter of fact, the last time I seen him, I can still remember, man, was May the 12th in 2009, and it just breaks my heart. I miss them all, of course, but the feud, man. Well, we got to tag together and we got to feud together, and man, I just feel like Rob's like my twin. I mean, I just felt that kind of connection with him. Rob is just, well, as you know, he's just a super guy in every way.
Well, you were the
And
J.R. Ewing of Asylum Championship Wrestling. You were the opposite of me and, guys like Seven and stuff like that. And then
right,
Rob was basically your heavy, and he was probably the best wrestler we had at this point. I look
yeah,
back at a lot of the old clips in Asylum Championship Wrestling from those days in Oklahoma and Texas. And the clips are hilarious. The storylines are fantastic, but the wrestling was terrible.
well,
But
my favorite with Rob, you got to let me get this in real quick, Brandon, was when for some reason I think I was out of, I can't remember what the circumstances were surrounding it, but I wasn't going to be there. And you had Rob come out of the locker room outside
on the
screaming in the
phone
cell phone about being with Vince Gill.
with Vince
Man,
Gill.
oh man, man, he was awesome, man. I mean, Rob always was very animated, but that was so hilarious the way he held that phone like he was looking at me and screaming, and his veins were about to pop. It was great.
I wish I could do clips on here. I'm sure I could have if I spent hours and hours and hours. There's a lot of people on this list, like literally, but I wish I could put clips of all this stuff up there and just have it ready. But I guess that comes with a budget.
Man, well, that and Bo. If we had old Bo around, old Bo would
Oh,
hook it.
why is Bo not on this freaking list? Oh, I feel like an asshole. Oh,
Well, brother,
let's talk about Bo real quick, and then I gotta let you go.
this
But
time tomorrow, you'll be thinking of 20 other people that about your
I
living.
did this list off the top of my brain and whatever, but
I
Bo should have been easy. He wasn't a wrestler; he was our camera guy. But behind
Right.
the scenes, ACW in Wichita Falls, Texas would not have happened. It may have happened, but it would not have been as smooth. He was the go-to guy. He got everything that we needed. He fixed everything. He was like our Buddha in Wichita Falls. And he was
Yep.
always there. He took all the pictures, did all the video. And he was basically my best friend in that little city. But he passed away of complications with diabetes or something. And I hate how many people on this freaking list are no longer with us. I hate it.
It just blows my mind, and it makes me so sad.
They're all younger than us.
I know that's the thing. I mean, we all know we owe God a death, but man, some of these guys, man, they just had so much life left ahead of them. It's just heartbreaking. I mean, because like you said, Bo. Well, and the thing is, he was responsible for so many memories, which unfortunately I don't have my tapes anymore of. Man, he documented everything for us, and not only did he spend considerable time doing it, but he did so much at his own expense.
Here's
And
Bo in a heartbeat. After I moved to Colorado, I didn't see Bo for about a year and a half. And then I was making a trip down to IZW, who took over Lawton, and I got pulled over. And I found out that my freaking license was suspended. I had no idea. It was just it was expired. And I was like, oh crap. So the cop takes me back to the station. They made me follow them back to the cop station. This is in like some city that starts with a C in the middle of Texas. Like I have no idea where the hell I was. Colby, Texas, or whatever, Texas. And I didn't know anybody else. I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. So I'm like, so I call, Wolfenberger to say, hey man, I might not make the show. And then out of nowhere, Bo called. No, I called Bo, and I'm like, dude, he drove an hour and a half to get me with Julie, I think, and they drove the car out of the cop station, of course, down the street. We got back in, and I took over, but he did that for me. It's a 3-hour round trip out of nowhere in the middle of the day, just because. That's
yeah,
Bo.
That you're right, man. I mean, a friend to everyone.
Well, cool,
Yes,
man. Hey,
sir.
you stay in touch with me, okay? And
I will.
tell your little
Thank
girl she's beautiful and hello. And man,
Meredith Murray. She's my
yes,
little queen.
she'll be the next. She'll be Meredith Scott. And
There
she'll
you go.
take over our next version of ACW or
I
Asylum
don't drink
Wrestling.
Coke every day.
She gives me a hard time, man. I've got man boobs now and a big keg belly, and she reminds me
I
of it.
always offer him a bra, but he's like, no. Like, what?
Well, not like to have your daughter offering you a bra. She's shooting on me, brother.
I'm in love now. She's the greatest. Okay, I'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon, man. You stay in touch. Be safe.
I love you, Brandon.
Back at you, man.
Love you, brother.
Oops, I cut him off a little soon. Sorry about that. Anyway, that was Chris Scott, Chris Ward. Sorry, Chris Scott's another one. How do I didn't want to ban him. Jeez. Anyways, that was he was Peyton Scott in ACW. We were the initial main feud of our company, and so cool to see him, hear him. His daughter's like the coolest person in the world. I offered him a bra. Oh man, let's get through this list. We're gonna be here all freaking night. We've already been. I don't have anything to do. I have a shit ton of editing to do for ASY TV. That's what I do now. I traded in the wrestling ring for the television network, and yeah, somebody wrote. I just put together that ASY TV is from ASYLUM Wrestling, which is from the ASYLUM Concert Club. If you want to know what ASY TV is, it's the word asylum cut in half, because we were going to be called the Asylum Network because that's my brand basically, and it's too dark, and there's already an Asylum Network out there, a TV production company that would have been pretty pissed if I would have ran with that. So I cut the word in half and I own it. Simple as that. Number 46, Johnny Crash. Man, I'm not numbering these, by the way. They're all out of whack now. Johnny Crash would do anything you tell him. He's still working. He's doing stuff with Colorado Springs Wrestling. I think that's their name. I don't know. I don't know the letters anymore of any of the local promotions. I know Rocky Mountain Pro is doing good. And that's, I think Primos is still a thing in Colorado. I don't know. I wish everybody really good luck though. I really do. And Tim's still doing it. I really, really liked him. And we always tried to find things for him, like the Crash Pad talk show segment, which I think we did a few times. Always included him. He was with the Zane Morris ministry, which was awesome. It was like this bad church people. There was so much that we did with him, and we had him turn on ACW in a big cage match between us and another promotion. And I remember going to that promotion, and I think I knocked him out by slapping him really hard. I'm sorry, Johnny, but I love that guy, man. I'd like to see him again. I haven't seen him in years. So next, Aaron the Candyman, good worker. Should have listened more, but I'm not saying negative stuff. I like the guy. I really did for a while there. I think we were clicking, but John Capozito, sweet Johnny Zudo. My God, man, I love this guy. I just saw him in the Denver Fan Expo up in Denver just a few weeks ago. And he's the guy who made the ASY TV logo. He's both of them that we've ever had. I love that guy. And he's such a talented artist. My God. John Capozito is his real name, Johnny Zudo. And we did this gimmick with him where he was, way before CJ Parker did the, was that his name? CJ Parker? Juice Robinson did the thing in NXT where he was in love with the planet and there's no planet B type of thing. We did that with Johnny Zudo years before that. And I remember filming segments where he's out there putting blankets on trees and just, I don't think he ever had an opportunity to really train up and be a really good, like, in-ring performer. That's not his fault. But man, he did all the stuff. He was like auxiliary talent where he could come in. He was kind of a glamorized. Listen, wrestling companies need glamorized job guys. Okay. That's not an insult. That is saying that you can portray a silly role and be entertaining as hell and not, spend years and years and years in the ring. We're independent wrestling. We never had years and years and years to build somebody and train them up. That just doesn't really happen too often. But Johnny was just did anything you want him to do and did it so damn well, and such a talented artist. Dewayne, man, when an independent promoter sees a guy with a body like this, no, like Wayne, I forgot his real last name, but Dewayne is what I named him because it's marketable as hell. And we made him this fitness instructor, and he was like that tool bag that everyone hates, like that guy who's just better than you and he's just a douche about it. And we had Tila with him when they were actually dating, and we'll talk about her later for sure. But I loved that package, and we just made this video where it's like Dewayne says, whatever, and he's beating the shit out of people, and it was so damn funny. Look up his intro video. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. Dewayne intro video, ACW. But yeah, cool guy. We were never friends or anything, but I loved having him on the show. Oh man, this one sucks. Ryan Epic. I always forget his real last name. We were never really close friends or anything, but another amazing body package, and he could go in the ring too. He's no longer with us. I don't know why. It's none of my business, but he passed away, I think, last year. Why? I mean, just the guy was a freaking box of potatoes, man. I mean, he looked like a Greek god. And I liked him. I really liked him. He was easy to get along with. I don't think he was committed to wrestling or especially ACW, but damn, Ryan, dude. Epic is what he went by. I always called him Ryan Epic because I like names, like first and last name. He was a tag champion in ACW, did a lot of stuff with Saga. But man, I don't understand why some of these people are not here right now. I just don't get it. It makes no freaking sense. Noah Tumbarella, who I renamed Noah Torella, another guy with a great body. Listened, he could work a little bit. Not the most charismatic person. He's more charismatic now on, like, if you say anything bad about a Republican, he's like front and center to defend them. So we'll probably won't be best friends anytime soon, but I always respected him and I always wanted to do stuff with him. And I think we built him up pretty well to do some fun stuff, and just didn't have the time. It was towards the end of ACW. And would have liked to have had more time with a guy like that and have him actually listen. That's a big thing. Kids, when you're stepping in the ring for the first time, you don't know shit. 5 years later, when you step into the ring again, you still don't know shit. Okay? You don't. And you need someone like me or somebody that's got a lot of years in the business to say, you don't know shit. It's just how it is, man. Nico Elias Castanada. I never said his freaking name right. Is that what we called him? He was with Eric Angel, and they did the Delinquents. They did the Distinguished. He did some other stuff on his own. We were never like close, but he was a damn good worker. And that's really all I got to say about him, man. He was there for it. He's a tag champ a couple times in ACW. Here's one that I really like, and he just got married. Congratulations. Miguel Contreras. Did I say it right? El Hoto Loco. If you speak Spanish, you pretty much know what that means. I did not. It was the name that he came up with. Maybe, did I come up with that one, Miguel? I don't remember. But just a masked gay luchador in 2000. When the hell did you join us, brother? 2008, 2007, 2008. He started off running camera for us, trained up. He had a couple good moves. He was never like the big tough guy. Like, he got hurt a lot, but such a cool dude, man, and always there and committed. And he called me out a lot of times on stuff he didn't agree with or stuff that may have happened to him. But I love that guy to this day, man, and I'm so happy that he got married to whoever he got married to. I thought I was supposed to film that. Anyway, what else do we got here? We got some comments and stuff, but I'll get to those later. Derek Stone. Derek, The first time I met Derek Stone, I was doing a promo with Dusty Rhodes right before he had a match with Dusty Rhodes. And I took the bionic elbow, bumped my ass out of the ring because I was in the main event, Derek. You can have Dusty because I was in the main event for the NWA title at that point, or the NWA Oklahoma title, whatever. But Derek Stone, when I finally got my hands on this freaking lump of a man, and you could take that however you want to, I had to do something that he's never done before and that he probably never even thought of before. I just had to do something. First, he came in as like a Quinn Industry henchman, and he beat the crap out of me. I think Danger Dean took his first bump from Derek Stone when he was a ring announcer. And then he spiked poor Josh Michael on his head. And I remember going at the Phil Long Expo Center in Colorado Springs. I remember going backstage after my stuff was done, and there's Josh just laying on the cold ass freaking concrete floor. And I'm like, that's not good. So I crouched down next to him, and he's like, he spiked me. But anyways, I'm sure Derek's not proud of that at all. He probably would like me not to talk about that. But Derek, man, he's been around forever. He was in the like 1969 WWF, I think. I don't know. But what a sweet guy. He looks like he can crush you, and he can. He's one of the strongest human beings alive. But I did this like gimmick with him because I like to dress people up, where I was basically ripping off the Chuck Norris thing. It's like Derek Stone uppercutted a horse. Now we have giraffes. Derek Stone visited the Virgin Islands. Now they're just the islands. Derek Stone once killed a bird by throwing it off a cliff. Things like that. And that was his intro music. It was like just, I think it was Great White's Missed a Bone. But I just did these voiceovers like Derek Stone, under his beard is another fist, whatever. But that was so cool. And the storyline between him and Hoto Loco and Rob Risen was as good as anything that's ever been on any wrestling television show ever. Those three, like Hoto Loco had a crush on Derek, but like Rob Risen was this conniving middle guy, and like Derek was his henchman, and he hated Hoto, and Hoto would always get over. It was so much fun. And I think the three of them switched the institutional title about 400 times between them. Another name from the Colorado Springs Phil Long era was KO. I think she's married now. Her name's Kay Mooney. She was like our only chick. Like there was not a big, at that point, there were hardly any that I can even think about. I mean, we had like Veronica and, women coming in like Bree and things like that at ringside as managers and valets and stuff. But KO was in the ring, and I had nobody for her to wrestle except for the dudes. And she was perfectly cool with that. And she got over, and she was a former institutional champion, I do believe. And man, when she'd go out there, she'd put those arms up, and then the people would blow the roof off the Phil Long Expo Center. And it was cool to have her. It really was. I'm really proud of some of the stuff we did. She let us cut her hair off one time. I remember the only time I think she was really pissed at me, I dressed her up as a nun for the whole Father Zane thing, and she lost a match, so she had to dress like a nun, and she was not happy about it. I'm like, no, you don't have to wrestle in it. And she was so relieved that she didn't have to wrestle in it. But yeah, she was pretty pissed off at me at that point. Hey man, I'm just trying to get some shit over. And in the end, she got over huge because of it. Next is Jason. I think he did a bodyguard gimmick with maybe Mitch Carter when he was doing the president thing. Am I wrong? But I know he came back and he was tag champions with Jason Knoll towards the end of ACW as we know it. And the dude is a freaking solid ass worker. This guy is, I mean, here's the thing. He wasn't always. I remember we had a match, I think in Saga up in Denver, that was literally the drizzling shits. And I think I had to work with a guy named Nate something, and he had a can of spinach, and he was trying to get me to eat the spinach like Popeye because it would make me big and strong. When I work with somebody who's not ready to be good, I always try to work something else. I remember working Joey Terrifying, whatever, up in Primos or whatever. He's the owner now. The guy could work now, but when I worked him, he had this little toy clown, and I remember just working the clown because I was trying to make anything happen at that point. Anyway, yeah, Jason's a solid ass worker, dude. Like, if I still had ACW and he didn't move to Florida, wherever the hell he's at, I'd still have him in ACW. Even if I had to fly him in, I'd still bring that guy and his beautiful bald head to ACW. Probably tag him back up with Jason because that was a solid, what were they called? The Investment? Yeah, those guys were awesome. Cody Jones, here's some stories for you. I remember Cody. He's Tom Jones's son, and Tom Jones is one of the guys who trained me years and years and years ago. I say that because you basically show up and the other boys would train you and he'd stand outside. But I loved him. I love Tom Jones. Not the singer, the wrestler, Mr. Ebony, if you will. But I remember this little kid just running around and his sister just running all over the freaking place. And like, Jesus Christ, man, these kids, man, like, oh, those are Tom's kids. Like, ah. And then years later, Cody, and I'll put Paloma Vargas here as well, Paloma Star, whatever she goes by. Both of them, fantastic workers, awesome people. Every time I go to Chicago, I try to see you. We had some really good fun backstage at Raw and SmackDown, I think. Was it? Or was it just Raw? And we just spent the whole time making fun of Michael Hayes. Sorry, Michael Hayes. How about them Freebirds? Cody gets it. Next is a dude. I was working at a Toyota car sales place up in Aurora, Colorado, and I met this guy, and he's a huge wrestling fan. And I'm like, well, I run a wrestling company, so. But he had this like voice, almost like a Jesse Ventura type of voice, you know. And he's loud and boisterous and just a big guy. And I'm looking at this guy going, dude, I don't think you'll be a wrestler, but that voice and that confidence and that inflection and that like bigger than life personality. I'm bringing you in, dude. We're going to make you a manager. I think we made him Jeremy Quinn's lawyer, and Drew just owned it. He got to do a spot with Goldust and just owned it, man. That's another guy that I called. I'm not even sure if he's in Colorado. I haven't talked to him personally in a long time, but I'm calling him. Are you available if we start back up? Another satellite performer here. I got to get through these a little faster. Otherwise, you're never going to get to sleep tonight, are you? Nobody wants to look at this face for hours. Or do you? Anyway, Veronica Atkinson. I think she was Mitch Carter's girlfriend in the Phil Long Expo days. And not only just a stunningly beautiful person inside and out, but she always did really good whenever you asked her to do anything. She did some stuff at the Big House Sports Arena. I think she was with the Quinn group as well. The Quinn group was huge, and I would have loved to have kept running with that group. They had like 10 people in it. Richard Gustison was there. Drew Steele was there. Veronica was there. Of course, Jeremy Quinn was there, and none of those people are wrestlers. That's just the group. It's good to have a bunch of people around and ties. Loved that. And then they had Jason Knoll, they had Jason, they had Danger Dean, Martin Casals. Wow, that was a freaking awesome group. Like, seriously, Quinn Industries, better than any other group in the history of Colorado. And I'm confident in saying that. But yeah, Veronica was awesome. Eric Angel. Eric, long career at this point. And contrary to popular belief, I really like Eric Angel as a person. I really do. I know he doesn't, and I don't care, but I like him as a person. And I still, to this day, you can call yourself the Canadian Pitbull, you can call yourself Jefferson, whatever. You can do all these different gimmicks, but the best damn thing you ever did is the one that we came up with. And it's kind of the Andy Kaufman ripoff thing, the educated Eric Angel. That was by far, and here's the reason I say that, because I've seen you in all these different characters and all these different presentations. The one that got the biggest reaction is when you stood in the ring and read The Grapes of Wrath. And then when the crowd was so loud and booing you, you said, now I have to start over. Oh, wow, like seriously. And then no matter who came out at that point, they were over. Like, it was great. But he kind of shit on that gimmick. So, but I still like him as a person. This one is the first person I ever wrestled. I learned so much from Miguel Reiner. 7 is his wrestling name. We beat the shit out of each other for a decade and 3 different cities, 3 different states, probably more. And if I really dig into it, I've wrestled for probably 50 or 60 different promotions in my 18 years or whatever. My goodness, we bled so much. He's the first person he juiced me. And when he did it for the very first time, he cut, like, cause I had really long hair at that point. He cut it right here. So I had this little mini mullet right here it took forever to grow back out. That son of a bitch. But I adore him to this day. He always calls me out for being a grumpy old man, because I am, especially around 4th of July. I love this guy. I will always consider him a very close friend, whether we see each other in person or not. The last time I saw him, we were beating the shit out of each other in a cage at Cage Wars. It's a friendship forged in blood, and a lot, and I mean a lot, of the stuff that I took with me throughout my entire wrestling career came from Miguel, came from 7. He was the first ACW champion too, crowned 20 years ago today. 20. Holy crap. Another one that's not with us anymore. Jesse Williams, 2-time former ACW champion, died a year or 2 ago. Why? The guy was made of granite. And a lot of people said a lot of bad things about Jesse, but he never gave me any trouble. He didn't show up one time, and there was that, maybe 2 times. But he always did what I asked him to do. He almost dropped me on my head once. But that's it. That's really the only bad things I could even possibly say about the guy. And there's a reason you put belts on people, because they can carry them right. And we put it on them twice. So think about that. Next, Marty Daniels. Oh my goodness. Why is Marty Daniels not on that freaking, like, what company should not hire Marty freaking Daniels? This girl is not only insanely cool and just loves this so much, but just, she's a physical specimen. She looks amazing. She looks like what a pro wrestler should look like, male or female, doesn't freaking matter. Marty Daniels is the blueprint for a professional wrestler, and she can go. She could go 10 years ago. It makes no damn sense to me. Open the damn checkbook, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Open the damn checkbook, Tony Khan or Scott D'Amore, whoever the hell's out there. Open the freaking checkbook. Open your eyes first, and then open your checkbook and hire Marty Daniels, because that girl, we did do a tryout once. She doesn't want me to talk about this at all, but I will. We did a tryout with WWE, and she was working Tila, Brittany, and I helped them put the match together just a little bit of some ideas. I mean, they're very capable of doing it themselves, but I was like, I was there just to have some fun. You know, are you going to pay me $400 just to hang out and bring some friends along? Fine, do that. But they did their little tryout match, and she got sick in the ring. And I kind of wanted to hide it. So she threw up next to me, and I scooped it with my hand into a trash can. But she threw up again. I felt so bad. Oh my God. But she's past that, man. I mean, that's just a story that she can tell eventually when she gets some kind of success. And I'm hoping she's still going for it. Next, still today, one of my best friends that I've ever gotten out of this whole wrestling thing, Jason Knoll. Fucking love that guy. We've had so many. There's too many memories. Too many. He was the guy that always showed up. When he didn't show up, I was shocked. Like, something must be wrong. Something must be really important for him not to show up, because he was in love with ACW, and ACW was in love with him. I can't even tell you how many titles he held. I don't know. Lots of tag titles with Chris Von Lohr, with Jason, with God, I love that guy. I hate it that I don't get to just hang out with these people. It's funny when you have a commonality like a locker room as a destination every month or every couple of weeks, and you get to see these people, but then that locker room goes away and you don't have the focal point to see each other anymore. So I don't even know the last time I saw him. I'm a little choked up about that, to be honest with you, because I love Jason, and I could tell you some stories about Torrington, Wyoming that will that's another podcast. There's midgets involved. There's yeah, all kinds of stuff. Don't worry about it. None of your business. Next is a guy who I considered a brother and then didn't. Michael Bogue, Uncle Mikey Quinn. He was Jeremy Quinn's uncle, I guess, obviously. And one of the most, I mean, not only did he have size and strength and a unique look, one of the most gifted pro wrestlers I've ever stuck myself in the ring with. I must have wrestled him 30 times in a very short period of time. And we never had a bad match. We would kick the living crap out of each other too. I don't think I've ever hit anybody with chairs more than I hit him. And neither one of us ever got hurt. And it was just one of those things that never got boring. He added an element to the Quinn Industries that I could focus on from Quinn. So it was, when he showed up, I was like, holy crap, we have Sergeant Slaughter, because he looked just like Sergeant Slaughter. And I think he was a sergeant in the Army. So I really bummed out that we fell out of favor with each other. I really am. There was a lot to that. His girlfriend at the time and a lot of shit talkers in the locker room. Let me explain something to you real quick about Dr. Death Steve Williams' retirement. I don't even know what the rumor is that went around with anything that pertained to me, but at the night of his retirement show, ACW paid him double what we promised him. Not only that, we paid him double in an Italian leather wallet. Anybody who worked in ACW in those first few Phil Long Expo Center, I paid people. I'd put the money, whether it was $20 or $100 or $500, whatever it was, I'd put it with a nice watch and give it to them. I would put it in a nice wallet and give it to him. Do you remember that, people? Yeah. So whoever said I ripped off Doc or something or didn't pay him is a complete asshole who knows nothing about what went on backstage. And you know what? If you really go back and watch the Dr. Death retirement show, he would have done that. He told me he would have done that for free. You don't have to pay me. I said, brother, this is the kind of shit that promoters had to deal with. And I'm not going to get negative because this is a positive occasion. It's an anniversary. It's a celebration. But yeah, there's a lot of bullshit that went on backstage that I found out about years later. And I'm like, when did that happen? Oh, I sold a bunch of t-shirt money. When did that happen? Oh, the Wrestlers Rescue thing that Dawn Marie ripped us off and ripped off a bunch of other people. Oh, I did that. Oh, okay. But you know what? You got to let it kind of just, and that's what I did. And I still, to this day, I love all you people. I forgive you. You were stupid back then, and I hope you're not stupid now. Okay, positive stuff again. But Uncle Mikey Quinn was a fantastic worker, and I wish he would have kept his head above water. Oh, the next guy. Where's this guy? I need to find him again. I'd like to talk to him right now, actually. I know you're like, really, dude? You're going to text people? Yeah. Numbers keep going up, so you're not tuning out. Where is he at? I should really do this on the computer, but I'm going to talk about him. Jeremy Quinn, Jay Quintana, my brother, literally from another freaking mother. And my man, we have so much crap in common. I lived in his basement too. I broke up with this girl one time, and lived in his freaking basement. And we just got to know each other so well. He was outside of Peyton Scott, he was my number one nemesis in all of wrestling. And none of this shit's working right now. Copy to clipboard. X out. Go over here. Boom. Paste. Send. Get on now, brother. Okay, anyways. Jeremy Quinn. He came in 2007 at the Mr. Biggs place. And I had him with a bunch of like guys that were training with hard hats, like measuring the ring during a match. I just brought them in. They're just measuring the ring. They're just having like this business discussion. And like just during all the matches, like just interrupting them and just doing this side thing. And like just talking like, yeah, over there. Yeah, we can bring more lights and everything. And they're just having this discussion. And that's how it started. Oh my God. How many 6 years later we are still feuding. The last ACW show was me, Goldust, and Candyman versus Quinn Industries. That feud never got old. We went through coffin matches, cage matches, gauntlet matches, barbed wire, freaking Asylum rules matches. His promo abilities were as good as anybody in the history of pro wrestling. And I'll say that with a straight face easily. And Peyton Scott's still trying to get on here. We're done, brother. We're live, pal. Anyways, there's nobody better. There's no heel in that era of ACW that was better. And Quinn Industries, I said Joshua Michael was part of that one. Epic was a part of that. Lonnie Valdez a part of that? I don't think so. But Uncle Mikey Quinn and everybody that I've mentioned, the guy was a fearless heel leader, and he cut some of the best promos that I've ever heard in pro wrestling, period. So, and I miss him. We're both singers. We've both done so much of the same stuff. Rob Buster started off as a referee in ACW. He was only in ACW. He was only a referee. I didn't want the Brokeback Billy stuff. It never made. I didn't like it because he was such a good referee. He was the perfect referee. There was no better referee in the history of Colorado. Sorry to all the other Scotty and all the other guys. And I'm sorry, you guys are amazing. But even at Buster at his best was the best. And he's one of the first people I talked to when I knew I was coming to Colorado and bringing the show with me. And he hooked me up with like Ryzen and all these other people and stuck with me forever. Sorry, I'm getting lots of messages here. Oh, let's go into, let's change this up a little bit. I had him as number one for most potential, and it stayed number one on the list. But Chris Von Lure, or Chris Von Lurdy's his real name. I called him Chris Von Lure because it just sounds better. 6'5", redhead beast of a kid that I met when he was 15 or 16. And he picked it up so quick. Chris Von Lure could have been literally WWE champion by now. I mean that. If he would have kept with it and just built up a huge ass body and just looked the part and lived the part. He got distracted though. He was a kid, he's a teenager, but he kept getting distracted. By the time he was like 19, he was so good. He was so freaking good. He looked so good. His personality was as good as anybody I've ever met. He got corrupted by the dipshits in the locker room, but I'm not going to say their names because I might say a few of their names here coming up, but he let himself get corrupted. And if he would have just listened, stayed on the track, he had amazing supportive family, Rhonda and his dad. I love them as well to this day. But Chris was like, literally, if I could think of any other person in the world besides like maybe Matt Garza, Chris Von Lure was like a little brother to me, whether he wanted to admit it or not. I know it's cooler to hang out with Sam and everybody and make little memes with making fun of Brandon. What are you doing now, kid? you know, and I mean that in the nicest way. I hope he has a great life. I hope he has a successful life. But damn it, if he would have stuck with this or anything, that son of a bitch would have been freaking on front of everybody's freaking TVs and tip everybody's tongues. Pisses me off because that guy had more potential. And I'm hoping, I don't even know what he's doing right now. I don't. I hope he's lived up to that potential. I really do. I wish, but he should be like literally front page news, man. That's what I thought of this kid. And to this day, I probably still think of him. Great personality, great humor, just did everything. Look up ACW at Loonies, Loonees on YouTube. ACW at Loonies. It's on the ASY TV page. Look it up. Watch that guy. He's the big redhead. And we did something with him for Asy TV about 6 years ago called What's in My Mouth, like a game show. Nailed it. I can't say enough about him. He was so good at everything he did. Next, Neil Stewart, Dallas Murdoch. He came here with the Utah crew with Martin Casaus and eventually others. This guy, I wish he was a closer friend. He was just so cool, so respectful, and a hell of a worker in the ring. What else can I say? He was damn good, man. And I'm hoping he's having a good life as well. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I hope his days are good, man. I really mean that. The Rocky Mountain Mouth, Michael Titus. If along the lines of a Chris Von Lurdy, unlimited potential. I don't know what to say about that. Did he like being told no? No. Did he like being told what to do? No. He thought he knew better. His brother's not even on this list, to be honest with you, because I never thought much of him. I really didn't. I tried to. Sorry, whatever. Don't be a dick, and then you don't get treated like a dick. But I hope they're both doing well. I really do. But Michael Titus was the brother that should have made it. He should have made it, man. He had this big wavy hair, this high voice, and he was wrestling. He was the wrestling that I loved. He was in the crowd with his brother doing commentary and just goofing around. And somebody discovered him and brought him to me. And I'm like, do commentary. It's yours. Do whatever you want. Have fun with it. And then, Michael Titus got into managing some people, and that's what he was put on this earth to do. I know he went to like OVW or something, and I guess had some success there. I don't know. I don't follow these people anymore. I'm sorry. I don't have time to follow everybody that I once knew. You're somebody that I used to know. Isn't that a song? Well, yeah, I wish you all the best, but Michael Titus is, I just lost my light. That's all right. Just a different phase. Here we go. Put this one down there. Yeah, there we go. I'm a television guy, man. I've got lights. I got lights. But yeah, Michael Titus was awesome, and I'm bummed that he's not on major wrestling show. Alexa, turn lights white. She's gonna argue with me. Alexa, turn all lights white. Hey, all right. Next, let's talk about somebody who has had some success and will definitely have more. Sam Udell, Dak Draper in Ring of Honor. Me and Sam didn't really like each other. Here's the thing. We were security guards at a hospital together here in Colorado Springs. We goofed on everybody else. I don't remember the guy's name, but we'd prank him, and we were just assholes, but funny assholes. And then he came to an ACW show, I think while he was still in college or fresh out of college, whatever it was. And from what he said, he liked it. Next thing I know, one of the Briscoes, Jerry Briscoe or somebody, discovers him, and he's doing NXT stuff. Awesome. Oh, he's doing stuff with us before that, was he? I think so. Anyway, I remember he had these little Speedos on, and I think we were kicking the shit out of him, trying to make him pay some dues, but went to NXT, and I don't know, we kind of fell out of favor before that. And it's one of those things where everyone, when they're young kids, they're too cool for school. Oh, the old lame guy, whatever. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like I said, there was this little faction of like 5 people that I could have just choked the shit out of if I had my choice. Probably not Sam because he was a strong dude, but they hit him with something. But anyways, we met backstage at Ring of Honor about a year ago, and before Ring of Honor was AEW Ring of Honor. And I think we mended that fence. I'd like to think so. I never had anything but love for Sam, and I never wanted anything but his success. I never took credit for any of your success. You did that all on your own. I was just there to bring you in and let you hang out and get in the ring a few times. That's really all that I ever had anything to do with Sam. But he's on this list as well because of potential. Still hasn't reached his full potential. He will, unless he wants to do something else. Then he'll reach. Sam's one of those guys, man, that he's gonna succeed. And it was so good to see him backstage at Ring of Honor, in the Ring of Honor ring during pay-per-views, working with Dalton Castle, and it was so freaking good to see him. And got married. His wife's with WWE now. I mean, like I said, Sam's going to figure it out. Next, let's talk about Lonnie Valdez. I wish Lonnie would have stuck around in ACW longer and been committed to our product. He had his own saga thing going on, and Lonnie's one of those people that thinks he knows everything. Maybe he does, and you can't expect everyone to commit to your dream and your focus and your vision. I get that. He had his own stuff going on, and I'm not saying that he knows everything as an insult at all. I'm just saying that Lonnie was a special talent, and I would have loved to have had him on board 100%. That just never happened. He was a tag champion for a little bit, and him and Ryan, and that's where it ended. But again, an extremely athletic, extremely smart, extremely good-looking guy. He's a diamond. I think he's still wrestling now. He's a diamond in Colorado's wrestling scene, and I hope, again, I wish the best for everybody on this list. I just don't know Lonnie that well, and it was cool to work with him when we did. Simple as that. Oh, God, I'm so sick of talking about people that aren't here anymore. Jack Zayler. He's been a wrestler in Colorado for a while before I met him, and I wanted to, we were doing the Father Zane Morris religious gimmick, and I wanted to have like his superior, like the person over him, come in and kind of do like I saw something where, like, you know how there's preachers and then there's cardinals and then there's the Pope, and like you keep going up the chain of command. That's kind of what I wanted to do. So we brought in Father Jack Masidal, Father Jack, what a great name. And he just took over Zane's group, and Zane got ousted, and then he turned into Z, which was this dancing crazy person. We'll talk about Zane in a moment, but damn it, Jack's not here anymore. And yes, Kitty, I agree. Jack was a good guy. It's Marcy J. Cat back there. So she will be talking for the rest of this, apparently. So I should give her the headphones and the microphone. Are you done? Okay. But it sucks that he's not here. It sucks us so much that so many, and there's like more that are not here on this list. And I'm just looking at it like I don't even want to talk about it. Like, anyway, Jack was awesome. I'm giving him a very controversial role, Father Jack Masidal. I'm giving him he's the leader of a whole group, and I've never even met him. But I looked at him and I talked to him. I think I talked to him on the phone beforehand, and everyone put him over because he's such a good dude, and he is, and he was. But he shows up with a cross on in a sport coat, and he just immediately, I'm like, and he just did this like weird thing with his eyes, and I'm just like, that's it. you're just like, you were sent from whatever, whatever. I do miss him. I don't miss his 3:00 in the morning calls asking me to go hang out at the local gay bar, but I miss him, and I kind of wish I would have gone sometime just to hang out. Fuck, I'm not ready to talk about that one yet. Let's talk about Mitch Carter. Mitch was like a little brother to me as well for a long time. Extremely good wrestler. Met him in Tulsa. He was in ACW at Tommy's House of Music is when he first came in. So he didn't get to see the glory days of Wichita Falls. He just kind of came in at the end of it, and then moved to Colorado Springs to help me run ACW. And then he had some family stuff going on. So he, out of nowhere, moved back. And he was my roommate at the time. So I'm like, so I guess you're not paying rent anymore, Mitch? Anyways, great worker, cool dude at the time. Let's talk about Tila, Brittany. Me and Brittany actually became really good friends after ACW. Got to know each other really well. And I'm grateful for that because she's such a good person, sweet human being, beautiful. And I miss her. I don't know, like her and her husband, Aaron, the Candy Man, are gone. They're just, maybe they just blocked me on everything. Did I piss everybody off? I may have. I do that sometimes. And that's fine. Toughen your skin up, people, you know. There's usually a lesson behind everything that pisses you off. And usually it's me trying to give it to you. And if you can't handle it, then you're not worth the lesson. But I'm not saying that about Tila. I'm just saying it about, I don't know where she went. And that's a bummer because we were pretty good friends. But again, I've not had a ton of women, but she was our first and only ACW women's champion. And did I say I haven't had a bunch of women in ACW? Towards the end, we did actually. We had the whole Utah crew. We had Paloma Star. We had Tila. We had Siren, Linda. We had a lot of them, and they were all Marty Morgan. She should be on this list as well. But yeah, Tila was great. Let's go back to the early days. Our second, actually, I was the second ACW champion. Yeah, I put myself over. Got a problem with it? Go have a conversation with Jerry Law. Go do that. Ty Magnus, the magnificent Ty Magnus, real name Todd French. The reason I named him Ty Magnus was because Jeffrey Parker, who I talked about at the beginning of this, he was missing some teeth, okay? And he had a really big, like a slur type of thing. So, what was it? He said, Todd, which is his real name. I want to introduce you to Ty. Ty? Cool. What a cool name, Ty. And he used to be called Magnum, which I hated. Just, I'm Magnum. It's a condom. Don't know. So I just called him Ty Magnus. But I really thought his name was Ty, but I just didn't understand Jeffrey Parker. But Ty was the guy who really honestly taught me how to wrestle. Him and Miguel, but Ty Magnus was there all the time to train while the other guys in Oklahoma City couldn't make it. He was in the Army at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and which was 5 minutes away from where we trained. And I love that guy. I miss him a lot. He was a mess, but he never acted like you couldn't tell unless you really dig in. But I adore him. And if anybody knows how to get in touch with him, please tell him to reach out to me because I really adore that guy and I miss him. And he was our third ACW champion, a couple time tag team champion with Little Joe. And what a cool guy, man. He was just cool. He was the Billy D. Williams of ACW. If you don't know Ty Magnus, Todd French, be bummed because he was cool as shit. I would have loved to have had him in Colorado. He had a great body. Oh, I mean, just beautiful man. I just missed the shit out of him. Anyway, let's talk about Bateman. Tyler Bateman is what we called him, and now he's just Bateman. I think he's back in the new Ring of Honor. He was in Ring of Honor last time I saw him. He came into the Asylum Concert Club days, and I remember when we first started training, he'd been training a little longer than I have, and he would just like walk the ropes all the way around the ring. And I just remember being annoyed with him because he wasn't listening to the training and just being like, God, who's this little punk ass? He just won't stop moving. Like, But later we hooked him up with Kenny Campbell. They were Team Shenanigans. They won the ACW Tag Team Champions. I think he's like a 9-time institutional champion, or I think we called it the hardcore champion because we were so original back then. But Bateman, I mean, God, he did some stuff in California, got picked up by Ring of Honor. He was with the little group. I forgot the name of the group, but whatever. And I'm sitting at the bus stop at the airport in Baltimore. And it's looked next to me. I'm like, and he's bigger than I remember. I remember him being a skinny little beanpole, like just, I just see this dude. And I kind of staring at him. He had these weird pants on. Like, Bateman? Oh, hey. If you know him, that's how he talks. Hey, what's going on? And we just talked for a little bit, and it was good to catch up with him. So, that's the cool thing about wrestling is like, if you don't see somebody for 10 years, like when you see them again, it's there. Here we are. Cool. Let's do this new thing. So these friends are like family, and family never goes anywhere. Let's talk about somebody else who's then been there from basically the beginning. Big John O'Malley. Every time I have ever made a mental list of my favorite matches, 6 of them are probably with John O'Malley. So easy to work with, such a cool guy, such a just boisterous, loud, obnoxious Irish son of a bitch. But I loved being in the ring with him so much. I liked hanging out with him outside of the ring. He's a locker room guy that's always laughing. It's just, I freaking love that guy. I really did, man. I still do. I just talked to him recently, and he's doing well. And it's so cool. Like I said, 20 years later, we're still talking to people, and it's like talking about the good old days, getting to talk to Peyton Scott, and just, I love this stuff. This is what I got. I got an ouch right here in the back of my neck, a little bit of an ouch down here in my lower back, but I've got like a plethora of friends that you can just go to them, and they can come to me, and we're always going to be there for each other. And that's really cool. John O'Malley's definitely one of them. Multiple times. Like, I think he held more titles in ACW than anybody. Tag titles, institutional titles, heavyweight champion twice. Love that guy. And another one I would have loved to have seen on a pay-per-view somewhere. Let's talk Franco D'Angelo. 2-time ACW champion, built like a brick shit house. Huge penis from what I've heard. Okay, I was with somebody who used to, I don't want to get into that. And it's just like, you feel like so inferior just going into it. You're just like, I don't even want to do this. This is because I know what has happened to you, and it's not okay, and it's not going to happen with me. So hope you're not expecting that. I love Franco. Another guy that shoulda, coulda, woulda, man. Makes no sense that he wasn't on top of the world. He could talk. I put him with Quinn. What a great pairing they were. Holy crap. We beat the shit out of each other too, me and Franco, several times, several of those Asylum Rules matches. Lots of blood, lots of and some great. He's the one that I put him in the ring with Dr. Death Steve Williams for Dr. Death Steve Williams retirement match. Franco let me put Doc over on him for the title. Like, he was just the salt of the earth, man. Like, I want to talk to him again. I want to hear from you, Franco. Oh, fuck. I'm putting a few of these off because they're depressing me, but let's get into Aaron Neal. Aaron McEwen. I met All-American Aaron is what we started calling him in ACW back in the very earliest days. Huge, strong. He was Dr. Death Steve Williams, but with much younger and with a Campbell Soup kid face. That was Aaron. He was my roommate too for a while, man. Let him move in with me to get him out of his house. He was living on a bunk bed with his little brother or something. And I was like, no, dude, come on, let's get up here. I need you. I'm going to take you and mold you. And I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, but Aaron Neal, we named him Aaron Neal, the real deal Aaron Neal, because we were sitting in front of the fireplace at our apartment, and I had a Neil Diamond record, which I still have somewhere around here. And we both like Neil Diamond, so Aaron Neal is what we call them. Cool guy, got really good. And another one that kind of listened to other people, probably for good and bad reasons, but would have loved to have stayed close with him in a wrestling aspect and done more. Let's talk about Caleb Crush. He was always Josh. What the freak was your name in ACW? Josh. I know you started off as Josh Spicoli or something like that, and then it went to Josh. Shit. What was it? I don't remember. Maybe you're watching. Maybe you'll watch this later. Leave a message. I'll check it after the beep. But Josh Sipples' his real name. Caleb Crush is what he changed his wrestling name to. Looking better than he's ever looked. I'm hearing he's sobered up and doing wonderful things. I saw him at some home expo, like selling solar panels or something, and he looked like $1 million. I don't think we've ever had a bad time. We had a couple arguments here and there, but that's just what happens. But he's actually like a Colorado legend now. Like, he was just a little kid when I met him all those years ago, but now he's a staple around here. So good for him, man. I hope he stays healthy, and I hope he keeps things going. Fuck, let's just talk about this one. Chris Carnage left us a couple years ago as well. Fucking hated. He was my musical soulmate. We would just listen to Wasp and all these different cool kick-ass bands together. And 400-pound guy, looked like Satan, somebody who could have been like Hulk Hogan's next big guy that he beat or something like that. Could have made money in this business. Wasn't bad in the ring whatsoever. Just his presence alone was good. But son of a bitch, he's not here anymore, and I hate it. Yeah, real good brother, man. We talked long after ACW went away. Came out to Colorado a couple times. Yeah, that one's hard. I'm just going to get this next one out of the way too. The first champion we crowned in Colorado, first ACW we crowned, was the unreal Joshua Michael. Josh Powell went on to be called Trajan Ender. I never liked that name. It sounded like transgender. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but is that what you want your wrestling name to be? But Josh was, again, like a little brother. We had a lot of phone calls, even long after ACW, a lot of long phone calls. Sometimes he'd call me drunk, and I'd be like, damn it, dude, I'm not in the mood. But I put the belt on him for a freaking reason, because I thought he was better than everybody else I saw in Colorado, and he was. Simple as that. And we had him forever. Like, I think for a long time, up until like the Hillside days. I know he was still making those shots. But Josh just left us a few freaking weeks ago, man. And fuck, why? I hate it. Like, I'm 10 to 15 years older than a lot of these people, and I'm a chubby dude with high blood pressure, and I'm still freaking here. Like, it's just, I don't know. I know it's not a competition and shit happens, but damn it, that was a cool guy, good father. Left a lot of people behind him that loved him so damn much. I'm one of them, and I'm heartbroken, as you are. It's shitty. It's shitty. It's freaking shitty. Let's talk about Martin Casaus. Now, Martin has found success on Tough Enough, on Lucha Underground, did some stuff with AEW recently, but deserves far more. Far more. He was our last ACW champion in 2013. He's still ACW champion. I got his belt right here. So you're still champion. You've been champion for 9 years now. Congratulations. You beat Bruno. Anyway, Martin's a cool guy, man. I want to do more work with him. I want to do stuff with him for Asai TV. I want to do, we're talking about doing a tortilla slapping contest. Like a wrestling style show, but instead of wrestling, it's slapping each other with tortillas. That's the last conversation we literally just had a couple of days ago. I love Martin. I think he's a genuine person. I think he's a good human being. He's a train wreck at times, but I think a lot of that's by design. And there's a reason he's been champion for 9 years, because I probably would have kept it on him for that long anyway. I like to do weird things, and having the same champion for 10 years, he would have done it too. He would have done a good job. Actually, that's a lie, because I always thought I was going to put the title on Rob Risen I didn't know we were shutting down ACW in 2013. I had no idea. We did the show with Gold Dust, and the venue shit on us. And at that point, I was like, I'm done. We had dates booked for a year, and then they just yanked it all out from under us. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with another building. I don't want to deal with these sponsors. I don't want to deal with, I loved dealing with the roster. I loved writing the shows. I loved doing all that stuff, but I did not want to have to start from scratch again after doing it time and time and time again in 3 different states. I was done. I was spent. I was burnt out. And, but those shows that we had lined up, I had written all of them. And sometimes people can't show up, people get hurt, things happen. But the, premise of it that was that Rob Risen, who was a heel that time, was going to feud with Martin Casals for the attention of Jeremy Quinn. It was almost like what Sami Zayn's doing right now with Roman Reigns. It's exactly like that. It's really weird. I was watching SmackDown today going, that's Rob Risen and freaking Martin. You'll be shocked how many times I've watched like WWE or even different promotions or whatever and seeing stuff that we've done or stuff that I was planning on doing. Anyway, Martin is great. Rob Risen has had a really good success on the independents. He had the AEW run. He had the NXT run. And give him a freaking contract already, you dicks. Like, seriously, the guy works his ass off. He looks like $1 million. We do a show together on ASY TV called Bad People, Bad Places, Bad Things. We're going to do a couple new episodes here in a couple of weeks down in Florida. I love that guy, man. I had Thanksgiving dinner with him last year, and, you know, that meant a lot to me. And if anybody deserves success, anybody has done the work to deserve success, anybody who's really fucking done it, like, the guy was a skinny beanpole with ratty hair when I met him. It wasn't that great in the ring. But he was such a genuine human being. And fast forward all these years later, a decade later, he's fantastic in the ring. He looks like a Greek freaking god. He's got this amazing devil gimmick that's going on and it's catching on. He's got a built-in following. He's in Florida now. He's available for all the big promotions. Get your checkbook out and give this son of a bitch a goddamn contract. Okay? Tony, don't make me slap you sons of bitches around. I will. I may be older now, but I can still chop the shit out of you, okay? I will chop Tony Khan, trust me. All right, let's get on with this. Who should I say for last? Well, it's not going to be this guy. Zane Morris. Zane Morris has lost his ever-loving freaking mind. He is out of it. He's gone. The last couple of conversations I had with him were so insufferable that I couldn't hang. He's lost it. I mean, granted, that was like 7 years ago. That's how long I've been avoiding him. I'm hoping this wonderful, beautiful man has got his shit together. I am hoping. Okay? I love you, Zane. I really mean that. But the Zane that I knew in ACW, there was nobody more creative, nobody more entertaining, nobody more just limit pushing, and just I would kill to have that Zane Morris help me with ASY TV. I would kill to have that Zane Morris just with me so I can, like we used to with the ideas and the training school, you know, we headed that up together. That guy was awesome. The Father Zane Morris stuff was as good as anything I've ever seen on any television show for wrestling. He was classic. It was edgy. It was risque. It was downright freaking insulting and controversial. And I loved every second of it. And then the Z character I was talking about, he comes out to squirrel nut zippers or big bad, what the and a serious type. Don't be held to pay. Squirrel nut zippers. Is that it? Or is that the other one? There was like 2 bands that did those kind of songs. Swing, whatever. He'd come out to that dancing and just, he had this weird mask on that he made himself. Like, just, he did so much cool stuff, and everything that you gave him, he elevated it 100,000 times. Loved Zane Morris, and he helped me so much in the Phil Long Expo Center days and even after that. Love that guy. All right, let's talk about Angel Williams. I should have talked about him with Peyton Scott when he was on. Angel Williams was Stone Cold Steve Austin, Randy Orton, and Arn Anderson all into one scary looking son of a bitch. He's the first guy to ever kick the living shit out of Brandon Bishop in a wrestling ring, busted my nose open. he came in with a chip on his shoulder, like, I'm going to show all these greenhorn rookie sons of bitches who the freak I am. And he did. He kicked all of our asses. John Zorthos kicked his ass. Me kicked my ass. Everybody. I was afraid to put him in there with someone like Jeffrey Parker, because Jeffrey Parker was like just skin and bones. He would have crumbled. He was my champion for a very long time, and for a very good reason, because he looked the part. He was the part. If you think you can kick James Palmer's ass, you can't. Okay. And what better person? Now, here's the thing. James Angel Williams, I'm not talking about Angel Williams, the female wrestlers, Angelina Love, whatever. I'm talking about the Widowmaker. James did not come with baggage. We had the incident with Matt Garza. We had the incident with Paul Basilla. We had a couple different things that have happened when he got a little hot-headed. But I love that guy. He's a brother to me, and we don't politically agree on anything, because I can't understand why. I'm not going to go there. But anyway, it's what better guy to have in your corner, man. I tell you, to this day, if somebody messes with Brandon Bishop, like really messes with me, and it's something that I can't handle, can't imagine what that is, but if it happens, I guarantee you James freaking Palmer will come out. He's the fucking boogeyman, okay? That guy will end you. And what better guy to have as a champion? Like somebody that you literally cannot beat. I miss him. He came out to Colorado a lot, and he was with us for, I'd say, probably 10 years. It's a lot of commitment right there, man. That's a brotherhood. And I don't know why I'm ending with this punk ass, but Danger Dean. What the hell's wrong with that guy? I'm going to beat the crap out of him if I ever. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I love Dean. Dean's one of those people, man. He's younger than me. We got along real well. We actually had a Valentine's Day. We saw the wrestler at the theater together on Valentine's. Shared popcorn, held hands. Kind of a little bit. When I met Dean, I've told the story a million times. When I met Dean, he was sitting at the end of a board table at a radio station that was sponsoring our event or doing something with our event. And he just had his head down, like just, and his feet were just tapping and just kind of like rocking. I'm like, who's, and I was talking, and I think we were supposed to be talking to this guy as a ring announcer, this old guy that did the sports or something like that. Or there was going to be like a battle royal, and they had a spot where we could stick a DJ in there just to get some free publicity. You know, I know all the tricks, but I just kept looking at this guy, this long-haired kid, like this little skinny guy. And I don't remember who asked him. It may have been me. I said, "You all right?" And he was just like, "I'm just excited, man. I'm just excited. I think I can't wait. You know, like Dr. Death is going to be, I'm just like, this guy's a DJ with an amazing voice who's stumbling over his words because he was so damn passionate and so excited about this independent wrestling show that we're bringing to his backyard. And he just rambled. And I'm going, I want that. You're fine. I don't think I have talked to that guy again. I'm like, yeah, cool. You can show up, whatever, buy a ticket. I want that. And Dean became the ACW ring announcer. Fast forward a year, and he trained that entire year, I do believe. I don't know. I don't remember doing a whole lot of training with him. Do I? It's foggy at this point, but he was still the ring announcer, damn good ring announcer, got the crowds pumped up, he had everybody in his hand, good narrator for the entire show. And then we did this battle royal gimmick with all the employees that wanted to be wrestlers, like all the managers, commentators, referees, whoever. We did a goofy gimmick battle royal, and Dean wins. He throws out Michael Titus last, and it was really good. It was like, even the camera people came in, the ones that weren't running the cameras, and it was freaking good. And everybody did so good. And it was like, well, geez, I got a whole roster waiting for me here of people that we can train up. I think Buddha was in it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Dean wins that and gets a contract to be a wrestler instead of a ring announcer. And then we brought Mike Shoemaker, who also deserves a mention. Why isn't Mike Schumacher? I made the list up right up here. Okay, I'm sorry. I probably forgot like 15 other people. American Pipples, Savannah, Sierra. What's her name? Anyway, there's others. But yeah, Dean became a wrestler and started working with Mitch Carter and doing a bunch of other stuff. Quickly became one of the most popular good guys on the show. And on April 10th, 2010, sorry if that's the wrong date, Dean. Pretty sure it was 2010. Wins the ACW championship in one of my favorite matches I've ever been in, a 6-way ladder match with Jesse Williams and Uncle Mikey Quinn, Jason Knoll. Was Josh in there too? Josh Michael? Oh man, who the hell was in that damn thing? And Dean. Anyways, it was a fun match. And he wins the title. And at that point, he was the focal point of ACW. I needed to get it off of me because I was not like a body guy. Not that Dean was, but at least he looked good. I thought I looked like shit. And I'm like, I got to put me on a poster. Like, geez. So I was so happy to have like Franco and Jesse Williams and even Dean, because he's a good looking kid. And I needed that top face that could carry it. And he was that guy. He took that from me so I could go heel. And it was so much fun. And Dean's just to this day, he's still involved with Rocky Mountain Pro. He wrestled for a decade after ACW, and I'm proud of the guy. I wish we were, closer friends, but he moved to Washington or whatever, and he's a busy guy, and I'm a busy guy, and whatever. We talk once every couple months, and it is what it is. I'm not butthurt about anything. I don't get hurt about anything. I'm one of those people where it's like, I want people in my life. I don't need them. I got enough. But yeah, I love me some Dean, and I'm wishing him the very best in everything. What freaking time is it? Wow, this almost went 2 hours. Holy shizzle. I had so much to do tonight, and I'm just not going to get to it because now my voice is gone and I'm tired. And yeah, I'm a little depressed, like seeing all these people that are no longer with us. So rest in peace to everybody. I hate that I have a roster in the afterlife that I can't even work with, but I hope they had fun in ACW. I hope everybody on this list and everybody I've mentioned had fun with ASYLUM Championship Wrestling. But ASYLUM Championship Wrestling is dead. But ASYLUM Wrestling, I guess we'll see. There's things that need to happen, okay? There's a few things that need to happen. Is it on my brain? Yes. Do I talk to Mike Bennett about this all the time? Yes. Do I talk to Maria Kanellis about this all the time? Yes. Have I talked to Heath, and have I talked to all these different people that I've been filming TV shows with, Eva Lise, all these different people about bringing back ASYLUM Wrestling? Yes. 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 Do I talk about it to a lot of people that I get the request weekly? When you bring back ASYLUM Championship Wrestling? Never. But ASYLUM Wrestling, I actually made that logo recently because I was doing the whole Primos thing. I was going to do a run with them, and that never happened because of COVID, but it looks good, don't it? It's not really up here, but if I do this, it looks like I'm looking at it, doesn't it? Am I close? So yeah, you never know what the future is going to bring, people. You got any comments, any questions, anything? Anybody? There's a bunch of comments on here and on here. And on here, oh, Cade signed up. Fuck, I've forgotten so many people, and I'm sorry. Cade was awesome. He always did what I asked. Thanks for watching, Cade. That sucks. I forgot him. X-Cow. Oh my God, I have forgotten so many. Mr. Brown. I guess I can't name them all. There's been like 300 or 400 people attached to ASYLUM Wrestling over the years. There's no way I'm going to remember them all. And I apologize. Philip. Oh my God, Philip. Scott Munson. Rocky the People's Ref. Oh, God, there's so many freaking people. Scotty the Ref. I'm sorry if I forgot you. I really am. I really do feel bad because you all meant so much to me and so much to the program that even David and Ashley that ran cameras for a long time. Garrett ran camera for a long time. We've done a lot with him with the Sci TV, Lost in America, all those cool shows. I swear, I am so sorry if I forgot you and left you off talking about you. You deserve it. And anyways, my apologies. Thank you for watching. I got to go, man. And like I said, you never know what the future is going to bring you. It may even be a little crazy. Some might say you might have to put it in an asylum. Bye.